My dad likes to ask them to hold on for a minute, then mutes his phone and leaves it until they hang up. Hi, hello, I'm Hope, and I hope you're all doing well today. Have you ever done some petty revenge? Well, today we'll be reading about people who have. Yup, that's right. Today we'll be reading posts from r/PettyRevenge. First post is titled "Dressed Overly Casual at a Designer Store so that the rude sales rep wouldn't get commission." I don't typically buy a lot of designer clothing, but when I do go shopping, I dress pretty casually. Last week, I was strolling through the mall and there was this designer backpack on display that caught my attention. Wearing a hoodie and ripped jeans, I went inside the store to inquire about the price of the backpack. I waited around 10 minutes for someone to help me until I decided to go up to one of the sales representatives myself. She told me to wait because she was helping another customer, so I sat down and waited. I saw her in the corner of the store just standing, not doing anything. I decided to wait another 5 minutes for her to come back, but she never did. I walked back to her and told her I wanted to inquire about the backpack. I asked her if she could bring me one from the back room so I could take a closer look at it. She told me that she wouldn't be able to do that unless I was planning on purchasing the item. She seemed really annoyed with my request. Before I could say anything else, she quickly walked away to help another customer. So basically, she already profiled you as someone who isn't going to buy the backpack. How rude. Anyhow, let's continue reading this. I'm a 25-year-old woman and I could tell she didn't think I was serious about purchasing it and didn't want to waste her time. I would have purchased it then and there if she hadn't been so dismissive. A few days later, I went back into the store. This time, I made sure to dress even more casually than before. I walked in, a pair of sweatpants, running shoes, a tank top, and a zip-up. The same lady was working that day and turned her back on me as soon as I walked in. I went up to one of the other sales representatives. This guy was younger, smiling and seemed eager to help. And I told him I wanted to purchase the backpack and he gladly went inside and got it for me. He even asked if I'd like to take a look at it before buying. I thanked him and he checked me out. The store manager was also by the cashier and I let him know that I came in last week and that the lady wouldn't let me see the product before purchasing it. He was upset to hear this and told me this wasn't the first time he had received a complaint about her. The item was a few grand and all the commission went towards the junior. He was so kind and grateful. She avoided eye contact with me after she got told off by her manager and I smiled at her as I walked out of the store. Don't judge the book by its cover. Well, she got what she deserved, which in this case was nothing. Though I will also put at least a little blame on the commission system as a whole. It's so stupid. Your pay shouldn't be based on whether or not you can sell an item and for how much you can sell it. As long as you're doing your job as you should, that's really all there should be to it. And I'm not saying this just like that. I would be lying if I said this was the first time I've heard a story about these commissions turning into unhealthy competitiveness between co-workers, as well as customers that don't seem wealthy, being dismissed, ignored, and just overall being treated worse. Just like in this post. Now our next post is about scaring scammers. I think we can all agree that we dislike scammers and a bit of petty revenge is just what we need. Hi all! Long-time lurker, first-time writer, plus English isn't my native language, so please excuse any bad grammar or wrong words being used. So I've been receiving calls on my landline from outside my country for a couple of days/weeks so far. The phone number calling me changes every time, including the country prefix, so they've been obviously spoofing their ID. When I pick up the phone, an automated message says, "This is PayPal. We've recognized a transaction over 499 euros. For speaking with one of our agents, please press 1," or something like that. Now, usually I don't answer these calls, but out of curiosity, I started doing it. Once I press 1 on my phone, some dude with a heavy Indian accent starts talking. When he's done with his intro, I start with something I think might scare them a bit. "Police headquarters, fraud department. What did you say your name was again?" Usually they hang up. One or two got rude, which makes me smile even more. There's not much else I can do about it because once I block a country prefix from calling me, they just change the prefix. But at least I can have some fun. Plus, I'm wasting their time. And here we have some commenters that commented on this post. My dad likes to ask them to hold on for a minute, then mutes his phone and leaves it until they hang up. Zero effort, maximum reward. Love it. That is the best way to do it. If you waste their time, they aren't making money. I used to take over the conversation with random questions. What country is this? What is the weather there? Etc. Then, after about half an hour, I tell them that this isn't my phone. I love fucking with them for a while and then I ask, so what do these calls do to your call center metrics when I've just wasted 10 minutes of your time? They always get pissed off. If you knew it was a scam, why did you waste my time? Like, hello? I wasted 10 minutes of your time. That was 10 minutes you weren't scamming a grandma. So yeah, my time was well spent. Do you feel good about wasting your time? Again, based on my comments about keeping you off the line with grandma, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about myself. And yes, I agree with these comments so much. I mean, wasting their time really is one of the good stuff you can even do in these situations. I mean, you can probably report them somewhere, but will there be anything done about them? Doubt it. Though there are a bunch of YouTubers that troll scammers, so maybe the number isn't spoofed, or if it's an email or something like that, you can send it to them. Again, I'm not sure about logistics, but I think it's still worth checking out. Now this next post is titled Airport Justice. Not my revenge, but some justice. Well, we do love justice. I was flying solo in my early 20s at a small airport in Europe, waiting to pass through security in the early morning. Because of the time, the line for security was not too long, maybe 20 or so people waiting. I was traveling with just a large backpack. There was only one agent serving the whole line. There was a couple queued behind me with a big rolling suitcase, which they were pushing in front of them. As the line crawled forward and I took a few steps forward to close the gap, the woman pushing her suitcase rammed it into the back of my legs. At first I didn't react because accidents happen and I wasn't injured or anything. But then it happened again and again. Every time the line moved and I followed, I would get rammed by their suitcase. I wasn't in their way or slowing them down, I was literally just ahead of them in line. I chose to walk the path of peace and just tried my best to dodge them ramming me, at times just staring at them while they did it. They saw me reacting, they just kept doing it. I didn't speak the language they did, but they were basically muttering and grumbling to each other. I'm assuming they were complaining about the wait. But Jesus, hurting a random stranger won't speed things up. My best guess is that they were trying to bait me into conflict. Who knows? A few times that they hit me, I looked up at the airport agent and made eye contact. I could tell they saw what was happening between me and those assholes. Also, not one person in the line had been pulled aside for extra screening. Well, I think we all can see where this is going. It was finally my turn to go through the security. I walked through no problem, then got sweet satisfaction of watching the assholes behind me get stopped and directed into the extra full search room. In my heart, I felt like the airport agent was getting revenge for me. This was such a nice story. Even if it wasn't you doing the revenge, the justice was still served. If you're liking this video, give it a like. And don't forget to subscribe. This next post is juicy. Also really funny, so let's just read it. My half-sister wanted to show up in a wedding dress to my engagement party. So I changed the party theme so she would fit right in. My half-sister Heather and I never really got along. Also, I'm guessing it's in quote marks since it's a fake name. Really common with these stories. We're both 24. My father left my mother for her mother, and we were born the same month, 20 days apart. It has always been weird. Can we just take a second to acknowledge how shitty the father is? Like, seriously? Leaving your pregnant, I'm assuming wife, for another woman? And let's be honest, they were for sure cheating. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself, plus that's not what this story is about. It doesn't help that Heather's mom hates me and my mom. By extension, Heather and I didn't have the best relationship. She has always tried to one-up me, even though we both have a similar economic background. I can give examples of this, but for the sake of the word limit, won't write them here. So now my fiancé and I got engaged last month and had our engagement party this Saturday. We've planned it originally as a casual formal event. Nice dresses, but not I'm going to the Met Gala ball. Nice, more like we're going to a good restaurant nice. Anyway, my cousin hits me up saying she has to show me something. It was a picture of the dress Heather was going to wear. This dress, Jesus Christ, it can only be described as opulent. It was long and white, strapless with sewing crystals and golden accents. I'm pretty sure it's a wedding dress, but I can't be 100% sure. This made me really mad, so I decided, fuck that. I started texting people telling them that there had been a change of plans, and instead of a casual formal, I decided to make a costume party. My mother's side is crazy for Halloween, so they were immediately on board. Understandable, Halloween is pretty cool. It's the only time of the year when people don't look at me weirdly for having horns. I told my father via text and asked him to forward the message to Heather and her mother, knowing full well that he would forget or leave it to the last minute. Saturday comes along, guests start showing up, most of them in costumes. Some didn't have time to get one. We just provided them with fun hats and cheap wigs. My dad, Heather, and her mother came like an hour late. As soon as she notices that everyone was either wearing elaborate costumes or weird accessories and she didn't stand out, she lost it. Especially when my fiancé came along and told her that her bride dress looked amazing for a cheap costume. Golden comment, you've truly picked the right person to marry. She left crying and her mother and my father told me that I was being childish and I could have told Heather myself and not have tasked my father. Nah, you did this perfectly. You minimized the drama, had a fun party, and got some sweet revenge. Well done, LP. Well, thank you for watching. With your help, I'll be back in hell in no time.